Hello students, I am Professor Reshma Shinde. Welcomes you in our new session of Export Import Management. So before this lecture, you learn the meaning of international trade, then advantages of international trade, disadvantages of international trade, and the difference between domestic and international trade. So in today's session, you're going to learn the features of international trade. So there are many features of international trade. So first one is large scale operations. So if any organization or any company they decided to enter in international trade, they have to produce a product in a large quantity, so in a large amounts. So if they are not producing in a more quantity or in more amount, there are chances of loss to that exporter. So obviously if they are starting the exporting, they have to produce a number of product as compared to the domestic market. So in international business, all the operations are conducted on a very large scale. So all the operations of production are conducted on a large or huge scale. Then production and marketing activities are conducted on a large scale. Not only the operations or business operations, along with business operations, they have to produce a product in a large quantity, as well as they have to implement the marketing policies in a large scale. So along with the operations, they have to implement the production and marketing on a large scale. Then it first sells its goods in a local market, then the surplus goods are exported. So in an international trade, before the entering or before selling a product in a international market or in another country, any organization they sell a product in a home country, and whatever they have the surplus product, they sold it in a international market. So if they have to capture internal as well as external market, they have to produce that product in a large quantity. So that is the first feature, that is large scale of operation. It is very obvious, if any organization they have to enter in international market, they have to produce a product in a large quantity or on a large scale. Then integration of economies. International business integrates the economies of many countries. So if any organization they can want or they can start a business or they can enter in an international market, they integrates the economies of many countries, because if one country is entering in another country, so there is an integration of different countries. It uses finance from one country, labor from another country, and infrastructure from another country. So while company trading in international level, they have the chances that the country may hire labor from one country, so they recruit an employee from a country who has quality human resources. So obviously they hire employee from country where they will get the good quality at a minimum price or at a minimum cost. Then they can use a finance from one country. So the developed countries, they are ready to invest in a developing country because they has a surplus of finance. So they invest the finance in a countries where they are going to produce a product, and infrastructure from another country. So the manufacturer or the businessman, they hire employee from one country, then they take a partnership or they take a investment or finance from one country, and they can invest that or they can start their business in third country. So there is a investment in third country. So it designs the product in one country, produce its parts in many different countries, and assembles the product in another country. So as I told, there is an integration of economies. So country, they design a product in one country. So design may be made in a one country, then produce its parts in different countries. So if any product they require the number of parts, they require the number of different parts, then they procure that number of parts from the different countries or purchase from different countries, then the product in another country, so they assemble the product in another country. So the countries who design a product in one country, then they produce its parts in many countries and they assemble in the third country. So there is a integration between these three. So it sells the product in many countries, that is the international market. So as I discussed, they take a product, they collect a raw material or a spare part required from one country, they make a design in another country, they assemble product in one country and they sell that product in a different country. So there is a integration of number of countries, because there are number of, they are taking a number of product or they are taking number of resources from different countries. So obviously there is a integration in a countries from which they have procured the different resources or they have collected the different resources. Then dominated by developed countries and MNCs. So obviously the international trade has a domination of the developed countries. As I told, the developed countries has a surplus of finance, they has a surplus of amount, so they can invest the larger amount as compared to developing countries. Even though they have a available of finance or resources of finance, so they can hire employees at a good cost or at a good salary. So employee will join a company who has offering them a good salary. So obviously the companies who have a finance, they have a good quality staff or they have a skilled employees. Then they has a economy of scale, because they can produce a product on a large quantity as compared to the developing countries. So they get a economy of scale and obviously they require the minimum cost to produce a product as compared to developing countries. Even though the countries, the developing countries, they have a technology and resources, so they can implement the technologies and they can adopt the research and development practices in the organization. So due to the availability of finance, due to availability of human resources, then due to the capability of implementing technology and research and development in the organization, even though they are capable to hire the good skilled and experienced employee by offering good salary. So obviously there will be the domination of the countries or domination of the developed countries and MNCs in the world. The MNCs means the multinational corporation. So such an organization who already set up in different countries and who have a good market, who had captured a good market. So obviously they have a hold on a different, or they have a hold on a market, so they dominate in a international market. Then benefits to participating countries. So this is another features of international trade, that international business gives benefits to all participating countries. However, the developed countries get the maximum benefits. So any organization who enters in international trade, they receive a benefits from that trading, so that the chances of getting a profit to the developing country is less as compared to the developed countries. But every countries are getting a profit. The countries who are developed, they may get the profit in the forms of money in a large quantity, but the countries who are developing and still they are competing with developed country, they may get a benefit in the form of technologies. They may take a capital from different country and they can invest in their country. So if they are not getting a profit in kind of money, but they can get a profit in the form of technology, even in the form of capital. Even though due to these there will be the chances of industrialization in a country. So obviously if there is a industrialization, then there will be the chances of getting a benefits or employment opportunities to their citizens. So every company or every organization or every country who is participating in international trade, they can receive a benefits. It may not be in the form of cost, or we can say it may not be in the form of money, but it may be the in the form of technology, capital, then opportunities of business, or even opportunities of employment. So these are the benefited to the every entering country. The next features, that is the keen competition. So international business has to face keen competition in the world market. The competition is between unequal partners, that is developed and developing countries. In this keen competition, developed countries and their MNCs are in a favorable position because they produce superior quality goods and services at very low price. Developed countries also have many contacts with in the world market, so developing countries find it very difficult to face competition from developed countries. So as we discussed in previous some slide, the developed countries can take a finance, or they have a availability of sufficient finance, so they can hire an employee with a good salary. Even they can implement technology, the research and development in organization. So due to this, they have a good position in an international market, they have a hold in international market. So obviously when the developing countries is competing with these developed countries, they have to face the problem. So obviously the developed countries has a good setup, they had a good domination, they had a hold on a international market. So there is a competition in a unequal competitors. So competition is between the developing and the developed countries. So obviously developed country will be more benefited as compared to the developing countries. The next benefit, the next feature, that is the special role of science and technology. So in an international trade, the science and technologies plays a very important role. So international business gives a lot of importance to science and technology. Science and technology help the business to have large scale production. So international business is depends on the science and technology. We can say it plays very important role in a international trade, because science and technology generate a new opportunities, they generate a new product, they generate a new technologies, which will create a competition between the different countries, and there will be the competition between the different organizations. So the next feature, that is the international restrictions. While when country is entering in international trade or international marketing, they have to face the different restrictions put on the different countries on a trade. So restrictions may be the in the form of taxation, it may be the in the form of barriers, that may be the tariff barriers, that may be the quota barriers, or that may be the tariff quota. So there are some restrictions which kept by the particular country for importing and exporting of product. So this helps to their domestic producer to take or to differ the benefits from the market. So international restrictions interrupt to the country, or they create some complications to the company who going to enter in an international trade. So in international business, many restrictions on the inflow and outflow of capital, technology and goods. So country keep some restrictions on the inflow and outflow of capitals, technologies and goods. Many governments do not allow international business to enter their countries. So the many countries, even they are not allowing to the foreign exporter to enter in their country. Then they may have trade blocks, tariff barriers and foreign exchange restrictions, as I discussed. The next one, sensitive nature. So international business is very sensitive in nature. Obviously there is a competition between the two different countries. So there are the attachment of citizens of particular country with their product, or this is a sensitive matter to the country. Any changes in the economic policies, technology, political environment etc. have a huge impact on it, because it is a sensitive in nature. The international trade is sensitive in nature. So whatever changes occurred in a economic policies or even in technology, in a political environment, obviously it affect on a international trade. So the best example of this is the condition of India and China due to the corona pandemic, or even the due to the bad relations between India and Pakistan. So it is a examples of the sensitive nature of India Pakistan, or it is the India China or China and America. So these are the some examples of the sensitive matters. So students, in today's lecture we have discussed on the features of international trade. So if you have any queries, questions, or you have any doubt, you can contact to me. So students, thank you for watching this video. Thank you very much.